What is up, guys? It is me, Real American Politics, back again with a new prediction. And today we have the very first 2021/2022 governor prediction video. So if you don't know, we have many close governor races from 2018, 2019, and whatever. So this is going to be a very intriguing election cycle for governorships. Because there's a lot of potential flips for the Republicans, or possibly Democrats, who knows. So before we begin this video, I hope you guys do enjoy these type of videos. If you guys do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes. So let's get right into it. So, in 2018, the Democrats made many pickups. Like, the blue on this map is Republicans. Red is Democrats. This is what this website does. This is Dave Atlas. I'll put this in the description down below so you guys can look at the website. Pretty neat. Well, you see all those flips that the Democrats got. And you notice that a lot of these states should be safe Republican, like Kansas. Wisconsin should be a very Republican state, and so forth. But also there's a couple states in a blue wave year that sticked Republican. Florida being the big one. Florida actually trended Republican to a lesser extent. So the fact of the matter is, this was actually somewhat of a successful election year for Republican governors, outside a couple states like Kansas and Wisconsin. But other than that, it was actually a pretty decent election cycle for Republican governors. Well, now it's a red wave year, and Republicans in several states have better candidates. This is where Republicans actually do pretty good at. They actually have good governor candidates outside of Ohio, essentially. The rest, they're pretty good. So let's get right into it. So let's start with the 2019 or 2021 elections, which is going to be Virginia and New Jersey. I personally don't think these are going to be less than an 8-point win for the Democrats. Yes, it may be a red trending cycle, but I don't see any Republican that could do good in Virginia. New Jersey, I do think it'll be around a 6-7 point win for the Democrat governor, Murphy. I just don't think he's going to lose. Realistically, that's what I think is going to happen. So I believe it to be a likely state for both of them. Now let's get right to the 2022 elections. And let's start in the great state of Oregon. Now, the governor in Oregon, Brown, has pissed off a lot of people. And this is a red wave year, but I do think that he would still lose by 5-6%. I think it'd be a lean margin this time. He's pissed off a lot of people, but I don't think it would change that much. So I do think it's a lean margin, especially with the red wave year, and he's just not that popular when you consider that he's in Oregon. So I think it's going to be a lean blue state. California's safe. It's going to get closer. Like, I don't think Newsom's going to win with 60% of the vote. I think if it's a Democrat, it's going to be around 55%. It's going to be a little bit closer, but still be safe. Now we get Alaska. This is the most cursed state when it comes to statewide politics in the entire United States. I mean, it's just a mess. You have libertarians get like 10% of the vote here. Green parties sometimes get 10%. It's a very weird state when it comes to politics, but I do think it's a likely Republican state no matter what. It's just that weird of an election cycle that it's just cursed, essentially. That's all I can say about Alaska. Now we got Nevada. This is the first flip. I do believe that Laxalt or Rick Harrison, yes, Rick Harrison, will run for governor, and I do think they would win. I mean, the Democrat governors just hated there. I mean, the economy has gone to crap in Nevada, and she just won't open the economy up. So, I do think it's a lean Republican state. And yes, you may say, oh, but the voting machine, the reading machine in Las Vegas, that's dead now, that the Democrat Socialists won there. So, the Democrat Party is kind of dying there, so it is starting to trend Republican, so that is a good sign for Republicans. Okay, let's just get these states out of the way. They're not going to flip. No, people are nuts for saying these are going to be like, oh, safe Democrat states. Guys, these states are staying Republican. No matter what you do, they're staying Republican. Now, for the Democrats, for the safe states, no matter what, it would be Hawaii, New York still, though I think it would get closer, Rhode Island, and the state of Illinois. Though I do think that that clown there, that fat ass Pritzker, is not going to win with 55% of the vote. He's going to win by around 10% instead, not by 16. So he's just falling off a cliff, especially with the Chicago issue with education. I just don't think he's going to win by that much, considering it's Illinois. So Republicans could make some significant ground in Illinois, and especially if a rhino like Kinzinger, yes, Kinzinger, runs for governor, it could get a likely margin, but I don't see him running. I just do think he's too hated by Republicans to really win the primary, so it's still a safe Democrat state. So now we got Arizona. I personally think that's a red wave year, and there's a couple good governor candidates possibly running for governor. I do think it's a lean margin. I do think Republicans will win by 4 to 5%. And this is something people are forgetting. Since November of last year, since the election of 2020, the fraud election, Arizona party registration has gotten more Republican. So, and with the border crisis happening, I do think that's going to be a lean margin for the Republicans' governorship. It's not going to be by 15 points like Doug Ducey got. He's not running for re-election. He can't. So I do think it's going to be a lean margin. Now we got Colorado. I personally think this is a safe state. Republicans have basically nobody that could run there. I mean, Cory Gardner maybe could make it closer, but I don't think he's going to run personally. Now we got Kansas. This was one state where Kobach, the America First candidate, ran in and lost because of a certain third-party candidate kind of screwed him over. And with the national environment, I do think no matter what, it is a likely Republican state. I mean, Kelly's not going to win again. I highly doubt it. I think she's going to lose by 6-7%, especially in a red wave year. And yeah, Kansas is slowly trending Democrat, but not that much in one cycle, especially in a red wave year. Highly doubt that she could win re-election. So this is the second flip for the Republicans. Now we got New Mexico. This is where it gets a bit dicey. This is going to come down to who is the candidate for the Republicans. And if it's Mark Ronchetti, I do believe he would win. All right. I mean, he only lost by 5% for the Senate election. And the fact this is a red wave year and New Mexico is pissed at the border situation, I do think Mark Ronchetti could win. Because I personally think he's that popular in New Mexico. But as of now, I do think it's a lean state. I just don't see Mark Ronchetti running just yet. He could run, but as of now, there's really nothing saying he will. Now there's Texas. Guys, it's safe. Especially red wave year. And a lot of the southern part of Texas is trending Republican. I just highly doubt that it's going to be within 15. And people that say, oh, Beto's going to run. People seem to forget. Beto had the most well-funded campaign ever in a blue wave against a candidate who at the time was despised by Trump's base. If one of those three factors didn't happen, Ted Cruz would win by 6-7% at least. So, guys, it's safe Republican. Beto would get crushed, especially against Abbott. I mean, anybody would crush Beto, so stop with this nonsense. Now we got Iowa. I think Reynolds will win by a lean margin, probably by 4 or 5%. It really depends who the Democrat is. It could be likely, but Reynolds kind of shot herself somewhat with COVID, a little bit. She lost a little bit of popularity. I do think she would win by 4 or 5%, maybe by 6%. But she should be winning by 10%, but I just don't think she would get that margin just yet. So, there's that. Now we got Minnesota with Walz. He's gonna... This is the issue with Minnesota. It is so hard to gauge what actually happened in Minnesota for the presidential election. Senate election was a lot closer, but Walz, the issue is just Minneapolis is on fire, and I do think he would win, probably by 4 or 5% again. It's just one of those states that's so hard to gouge because we really don't know what the real margin was in Minnesota. We don't know what happened in the Iron Range. We don't know what happened in the Minneapolis suburbs. I just think he would win by 4 or 5%. So, I just don't know. Now we got Wisconsin, my home state. I think it's lean. I think Republicans will win here by same margin as Ron Johnson, maybe a little bit less. 4 or 5% they're going to win here. I mean, I'm hearing Sean Duffy's probably going to run for governor. Please do, by the way. It's just, Tony Evers, the only reason he's not that hated, according to polls, is because the Republicans control the state legislature and it's so useless that nothing gets done. So he can't destroy the state. But he really is not liked here. Realistically, he went against Scott Walker, who he expired in 2016, blue wave year, and he only won by less than 1%. So, well, barely over 1%. So, it's a lean Republican state, especially a red trending state, against not that popular of a governor in a red wave here. Now we got Michigan. I think Whitmer will win, probably by a lean margin. Likely, I should say. No Republican candidate that I could think of, but she's COVID killed her in a lot of areas, so I do think it'd be a likely state, but as of now, there's no real candidates that are running. Now we got Ohio. Get rid of DeWine. Either way, it's a likely Republican state. Trending state, it's going to be Republican. Now we got Pennsylvania. Finally, Wolf is gone, and there may be a good Republican running there, but as of now, I do think it's a lean Democrat state. Nobody I could think of that Republicans could run. Again, it's a red trending state, so I would put it lean as of now, because Wolf is finally gone. They're not going to win by 17. They're probably going to win by 4 or 5, but as of now, I can't think of a Republican that could overtake that margin as of now. Now we got Maryland. No Republican, no Larry Hogan. F in the chat for Larry Hogan. It's safe blue. He's gone. Right? He's can't run for re-election. He could run for Senate, but highly doubt that. Now we got Georgia. Good old Georgia. I personally think this is a lean margin. No matter who you run, if it's not Brian Kemp or that clown in Raffensperger, it's going to be a lean Republican state, especially in a red wave year. And I do think they're going to run Doug Collins, personally. And that alone would probably be a 4 or 5 point win for the Republicans. And Collins is liked in Georgia, so I do think he would win by 4 to 5%. Now there's Florida. Guys, we're not even going to mess around with that. The Democrats are going to run Crist. That's not going to go well. I mean, Crist has lost 3 statewide elections in 3 different parties. One is a Republican, one is independent, and one is a Democrat. So he's not going to win. And that's who they're saying they're going to push for. And he is a fairly popular governor. He has around a 55-56% approval rating. And just people do like DeSantis in general. Democrats are dead in Florida. I mean, they shut down nearly all the volunteer stations. The volunteers are shriveling up. The funding is dead. So I do think it's a safe Republican state. Now we got Connecticut. This is one of those weird states in the Northeast that nationwide it's, usually a safe Democrat state. But last governorship, Republicans only lost by 3 against Lamont. And Lamont really is killing himself right now. But it depends who runs in Connecticut, but I do think it's still a tilt Democrat state either way. Now we got New Hampshire. If it was Sununu, it would be a safe Republican state, easily. But the issue is, Sununu's probably not going to run for governor, he's going to run for Senate. But either way, I do think Republicans have a couple good candidates either way for New Hampshire. I do think it's a lean state for Republicans. You've got Corey Lewandowski possibly running, you got a couple others. They're pretty good, but they're not going to win by Sununu margins. Now we got Maine. I do think Mills are going to win by 5-6%. It's going to be a likely margin. It's one of those states where there's no real Republican candidates in that state. Now, this is my prediction. A lot of these states, Republicans have phenomenal candidates. Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia to an extent. But some states, they don't really have anybody. Like, for example, they don't have anybody realistically in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Connecticut, Maine. Those are 5 states that Republicans could pick up if they ran a good candidate. But as of now, there's no real candidates in those states. But anyways, this is my current prediction. I do believe Republicans will flip Nevada, Wisconsin, and I believe that is it. The rest of the states will get significantly closer, but this is my current prediction. Maryland will flip to the Democrats, and yes, this is my first governor prediction. A lot of these states, they could flip if the correct candidate runs, but as of now, there's nobody running a lot of these states. I mean, if Mark Ranchetti runs in New Mexico, it would flip. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, smash a like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends. hit that little bell, and yes, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next video.